Okay, we're gonna start coding now. I'll share my screen for Scratch. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a demonstration on a code that I already have, but I'll explain every single step. Today we'll be covering for variables. We talked about this last time, and then today we'll be covering lists, but I'll also summarize what we learned last time. So here we have our variables for things like points that we're earning, and we also have a code for like high score to calculate high score that we've gotten while playing our game. So we have the code, if touching ball, then change our point value by 1. So this means that every time you touch the ball, the points value over here will go up by 1. But you can also change this like to any number you want, like maybe go up by 5 or 10. Or like if you want to discourage the players from touching the ball, you can like decrease the points, like going by a negative number. So maybe going by -1 will decrease the amount of points that you get, and then tell the players that like, oh, you don't want to touch the ball because it'll take away your points. And the goal of the game is usually to get as many points as possible. So if you have your points already and you have it showing up here and you want to make it go up or down, you'll use the change points block. And if you want it to go up or down based on a condition, you need to put it in an if statement with a condition here like it's touching the ball or something like that. And then you'll use the change points block. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Also remember when you're doing your game, you want to make sure in the beginning you are starting from a clean slate unless you have something like a high score. So the high score is never something you want to reset because you want to keep the high score there forever to compare it to your score now, or else you'll never have like an accurate high score. So something like the points that you get per game or like the collected items in a list here, you want to make sure that you delete all of the collected items and you set your point value to the initial points that you want. In my case, I want my points to start at 0. So if you wanted your points to start at like 5, then you would change this to like 5 and then go up or down from there. Does anyone have any questions on that?
I had a different question though. It was about clones. So I want to code something kind of like I guess Atari Breakout, but then I don't know how to do a point system, like have a point system for my clones. Or do I just need to have a different sprite for every block?
Yeah, I think for the variables here, because when you make a variable, you get a choice for like for all sprites or for this sprite only. I think maybe use another sprite as a clone because then you can use the points variable for all of the sprites. Also, can you remind me what Atari Breakout is?
It's that game where you have those blocks and then the paddle, you have to move the paddle so that the block doesn't touch the bottom or the ball doesn't touch the bottom, but the goal of the game is to clear all of the blocks.
Oh, yeah. All right, I remember that one now.
Yeah.
I used to play that on my dad's phone all the time. Okay, so yeah, for variables, you can use them for either one or all sprites. And usually I do all sprites just so I have a choice. And if you go down here, today we'll be talking about lists. So you can make a list, and I already have one created called collected items. You won't see all of these blocks until you've made your list already. So when you go down to variables, you want to click this thing that says make a list. And then once you've created your list, you'll see all of these options. So the first block here says add thing to, and then the name of your list. And what this does is it adds like the word that you type in here into your collected items. So I have my list here called collected items, and I have this code. If I'm touching the ball sprite, then I'll add the word ball to my collected items list to show that I've collected like a ball. And then I also change points by 1. And that's what this block of code means. Delete 1 of collected items. There's a number there, and that basically references the order of which items are added into your list. So let's say I collected a ball, and then ball is up here, and it's 1. And then I use this code that says delete 1 of collected items. That the first ball that I collected, which is the only one, would be deleted. So technically it would do the same thing as delete all. But let's say I had 3 different items, a mushroom, a chicken, and a water bottle. I have mushroom, chicken, water bottle in that order. If I did delete 1 of collected items, I would delete the mushroom because the mushroom is first. If I did delete 2 of collected items, which means that the second item I collected, I would delete chicken. Is that what I said? The second one? Yeah, I would delete the chicken because it was the second one I collected. And then delete all is just deleting your entire list. And I have it in the beginning here because I want to make sure my list is empty when I start the game, so I don't have like stuff from my previous thing that I played. Insert thing at 1 of collected items or name of your list means that you're inserting this word that you put in here at and then a position on your list. So 1 would be like the first item you have on your list. So if you enter the word thing into your list at position 1, it'll be entered into the place where the first item of your list is. If you put it like at 3, it'll become the third position on your list. If your list only has like 1 item so far, and then you do like insert thing at 3 of collected items, there are 2 ways that it might go down. Is that 1, it might not work because there's no second item, or 2, it'll just put it in behind the first item. So I never really tried that one out, but if you want to experiment with that, it would be good. Replace item 1 of collected items is basically taking the item in that position and replacing it with a different item. So if I had mushroom, chicken, water bottle here, and I wanted to replace mushroom with bird, I would do replace item 1 of list with bird, and then instead of mushroom, I will have the word bird. And then, oops. And then insert and replace are 2 different things because insert is just adding something at a specific place, and then replace is taking out the thing from that area and then putting in something else. So this one maintains the length of your list, and then this one will increase the length of your list by 1. And then over here, you see this block, these 3 blocks are like ovals, which means that they're variables. So item 1 of collected items is a variable that describes a word because in our list we are collecting words. So item 1 of collected items, let's go back to my mushroom, chicken, water bottle example. Item 1 of this, if I use this variable, if I called the variable for my list, this variable would define mushroom because that's the first item on my list. Item number of thing and collected item, let's say that I have chicken in here. Item number of chicken in my list that's mushroom, chicken, water bottle will be 2 because chicken is second on my list, so this variable defined will be the number 2. And then length of collected items is also a number, and it basically counts how many items you have in your list. If you can look down here, there's a thing that says length, and then right now it says 0 because our list is empty. But when we have more objects, this variable will basically carry how many objects we have. Does anyone have any questions on anything that I already talked about, like that I've been talking about right now? Does everyone understand how to use these? If you understand, can you give me like a thumbs up or a thumbs up sticker? Okay. Cool. It looks like everyone understands. So I'll move on to this block, which is a Boolean, and you can tell because it is in the shape of a hexagon. Collected items contains thing. This basically asks you, does our list contain a specific item? And then over here, you can type whatever item you're looking for. So once again, going back to mushroom chicken water bottle, if I ask my computer that's running it, does my list have chicken? It's going to check my list and it's going to see, yes, there's a chicken. The second item on the list is a chicken, and then this Boolean value, which can either be true or false. In this case, it will be true because it did find the chicken. But if I asked, does my list contain a book? And my list does not contain a book, the value for this Boolean will become false. And in the case that I put this in an if statement, if it's false, that code won't run. But if it's true, the code will run. And yeah, so this is just in collected items, checking to see if you have a specific item. Okay, and then show list and hide list here. So our list already shows itself when we have this checked off. So if we uncheck it, it'll be gone. And if we check it, it'll be there. But hide list, what hide list does is the same thing as if I unchecked it. It will make our list invisible. And then show list, if we put that after hide list, will show our list. So those are pretty easy to remember. Does anyone have any questions about lists or variables? Does anyone want like to code a high score feature? Like you want to show a high score thing? Okay. Well then, that is what I have for today's lesson if there are no more questions. So I'll give you guys about 10 minutes to 10 to 15. 15? How much time do you guys want to work on your projects right now? Like 10 or 15 minutes?
15 minutes, please.
15 minutes to work on your project, and then you can ask me a question anytime, and then after, hopefully, some of you guys are willing to share your project, even if you're not finished with your project, especially if you have an issue with your project that you need fixing. It's helpful to share, and then we'll talk through it. So I'll start a timer for 15 minutes, and you guys can, do your thing with your project.
I have a question. Is there a mountain sprite in Scratch?
I'm sure there are mountain sprites, but if not, you could always use the painting tool to make your own. But I'm like 90% sure there should be a mountain sprite.
Yeah, I tried to type it, but it's not really coming.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is no mountain sprite. If you want, I can take these 15 minutes to make one for you, but that will require me to send it to you through email, and then that would probably take a lot of time. So if you want me to, though, I'm definitely free to do that. Or
can you send me one?
Okay, yeah. Do you have any requests on the mountain? like a snowy mountain, or just a mountain.
I just want like a regular mountain.
Okay, just one, like a tall mountain.
Just two. That's it.
Two? Okay. Well then, 15 minutes, I'll start now.
Is there a way to make your projects sync or your sprites sync?
By sync, do you mean like SYNC or SINK?
SINK.
Like go down? Yes, but it's a little bit complicated because if you have a background and you want your background to sync, you're going to have to switch it into a sprite because you can't move backgrounds on their own.
Oh, I meant to make my sprites sync.
Oh yeah. Then that's fine. Here, let me like go look at the codes really quick on Scratch, and then I'll show you the code and then explain it.
Thank you.
Okay, Elizabeth, I think I got a code that will work.
Thank you.
Okay, so the thing though is that sprites can't go under the screen completely, so you'll still see like a bit of the head. Okay, so basically the code I wrote is that it'll start syncing when I press the space bar. But for here, if you use an if statement, you can change the condition to anything you want. So this is what it looks like when the sprite is fully synced. Okay, so I have my sprite here, and I'm gonna just take away the music I have because it's a little bit annoying. Okay, so when I run the code and I press the spacebar down here, this is what it looks like. You can also make it go faster, but yeah, you can make it go faster by making this number bigger. And what you have to do is you want to change Y because you don't want the thing to move left or right. You want to change Y by a negative number, and you want it to go on forever because you want it to go all the way down no matter where it is. So this is the code. You have if and then a condition, then forever it will go down. And if we change this number to like -10, it'll go down pretty fast. So depending on how fast you want your character to move down, that was pretty fast.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. We have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. I sent you the mountain sprite inside the chat if you wanted to see that.
Thank you.
If you want me to change it though, I could probably change it. Okay, we can start wrapping up now. So we have 10 seconds. Does anyone want to share what they have, or if anyone has any questions and want to be talked through? Oh, there goes the alarm. So does anyone want to share what they have?
I can't really share today because there's like I can't name my project and I can't see my project, so I can't share today.
Okay, can you explain what your project is about?
So my project is about like a city with the food truck going by.
Ooh, what's the food truck doing?
Like it's just honking. Well, if I put a sound, so it if I share, it's very loud. So I've thought of like putting it a little low volume. So then and then the food truck says like does every food, it just says food everywhere. So like it just says it has a space bubble and it says food. I'm
Ooh,
trying to do it, so I'm not done yet.
okay.
I
I'm
tried
curious.
to restart it, but it's not letting me name my project.
Hmm, could I see your screen and then maybe I can help you?
Yeah. Um, can you give me the share?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just putting this share screen. It's not giving me.
Oh, I think maybe you have to sign into your account, you know,
Um,
in order to like save stuff.
so just say like sign in.
Yeah, if you already have an account, to sign in. And then you might need to move your code over to that account. I'm not 100% sure though. Just try signing in.
Okay.
See if it saves.
Yeah, I'll tell my dad to come.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
Does anyone else have anything they want to share? Or just like explain what they have? Oh, Sammy? Ooh, a new episode. Wow, that's really smooth. I like how the potion went to your character there. I think that was really cool. And the background change and the dialogue was really nice as well.
This is the code how I made the potion glide.
Ooh, okay.
So when that click, wait 12 seconds, glide 82132, change size by 50 to make it smaller. And then when that click, go to the position that was in the wizard's hand. And then with that click, go to size 100 because the wizard is basically holding it.
That's cool. It really shows you how like a lot of different code can be written in ways that you might not know, but they'll give you like the same kind of conclusion, the same, I guess not conclusion, but the same final product. And it looks good. Does anyone else have anything to share?
I just signed in and it worked.
Okay, cool. Do you want to share your code?
I'm not gonna share, but I had something I made at the last class, but I was making the soccer game, so there's 2 players, so my dad's not really free, so I'm gonna only play with one character.
Okay.
So he has to try to kick the ball into the goal. Well, my dad, he's trying to play the other character, so he won't be free to play. I forgot to add the score, so I'm gonna do after class.
Oh yeah.
And the code for the cats.
Do you need help with the score now? Like, would you want to set it up now?
Yeah, can you help me?
Okay. So go to variables and then let's set up the variable with score. Yeah, and then I think you already have it. You can press the check mark on it.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have like a code for when the soccer ball hits the net?
I don't really have a code for this. Oh, yeah, I have the soccer ball code.
Okay, so do you want a score for each character?
Yeah, I want it for both of them.
Okay, so you might need to make another variable and you might need to rename this one like score green or score red to let people know like which score is for which character.
Yeah.
and score.
How do we make it to the other character?
Hmm?
How do we make it for this character at this side?
You can either make another variable that's called score red, or you can rename your other variables to become score red, but it just depends on you.
Okay.
And then I think you can drag the score red on the screen to the right side.
Oh, yeah. So how do we do the code again?
Okay, so do you want it so that every time the ball goes into the net, it's a point, or do you want it like every time the ball hits the edge, it's a point?
Every time the ball goes in the net.
Okay.
Like probably the net.
Yeah. This might be a little bit complicated. You might need to add like sprites for the net. Like if you go to sprites, you can find like a net sprite or soccer net. Try using the search bar. I'm not completely sure they have one. Hopefully they do.
Oh.
Doesn't seem like they have a soccer net. But the easiest way is to make it so that the net is a sprite, because otherwise you'll have to use coordinates and like make it so that it hits a certain coordinate.
Okay.
So maybe if you can find like a small enough sprite where it's not very noticeable and put it in the net, and then make it so that every time the ball hits that sprite, it's a point. It'll look like it's going into the net, but it'll be with a different sprite. And that's just like a easy solution if you don't have a sprite for a soccer net.
Okay. So should I just put like some sprite inside or outside of the net?
I think put a sprite inside, but like make sure it's very small and not super noticeable. Unless you want it to be noticeable.
Okay. So what can I use?
So like maybe a small circle or like a small ball. You can also adjust the size of your sprite when you're in the code.
Oh, so will ball work?
Yeah. And then just make it a little smaller. So go to the size at the bottom. If you go down and then change it to a number that's less than 100.
Oh, that's too tiny. Will this work?
That's a pretty good size. And then if you put it inside the net over there, yeah, and then create another one and put it over there.
Okay. So should I put one at the other side too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, well, actually, no, that works. And then if you go to the sprite, like the ball sprite, and then you can code inside the ball sprite. You only need one line of code for this actually, or not one line, but very few blocks of code. If you go to events and then depending on how you start the game, go to your forever loop and then choose an if statement. And then do if in the sensing, if touching the one on the very first. And then for sprite, go to soccer ball. And then go to variables, change score red by 1, or however much you want your point to go. So if the ball going in is goes like you want that to be 10 points, then you can change the 1 to 10. So change score red by 10.
I'll just change score red.
Yeah. And then you can do the exact same thing for the one in green, but with the ball 2 sprite.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm just.
Does anyone else have any questions? Comments? Suggestions? Okay, if not, then we will be ending our class here. And then our next 2 classes, one will be tomorrow, and then another will be on Wednesday. We'll be focusing only on our projects, and it'll be just like this, where we'll be sharing and asking questions. And I'll give you the whole class time to do that. So thank you guys for coming. Like always, email if you have any questions. Bye-bye. Thank you.